Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and today I bring you a pair of games from the Matilda IV Tier 5 Russian Premium Medium Tank. So this is a machine that historically was part of the Lend-Lease agreement from Britain to Russia, and of course the Lend-Lease agreement later also involved machines going from the States to Russia and to the UK. But this was part of the early Lend-Lease agreement. There are a couple of other Lend-Lease tanks in the game. You've got the Valentine II at Tier 4, and you have the Churchill III at Tier 5. So this is a Tier 5 game, and if you look, it's only just a Tier 5 game. Matchmaking is actually pretty darn good. And we are here on Comorin, which is, I must confess, not a map that I have generally liked. I do prefer this version of it since they modified it, but yeah, it's not my favourite map. So I'm trying at the moment to get through the central region. Managed to break one of them. I mean, generally speaking, to get through here you either want a good amount of engine power, you want to be fairly heavy, you basically want to be a heavy tank, which I'm not, but we managed to get through nonetheless, and make our way onto this central reservation. Now this means that when there aren't heavy tanks around, if you can make it onto this central island area, you can have a pretty darn good game, because the enemy team is going to, generally speaking, struggle to get up here. And you can have a very dominant position, a very dominant role from this position, especially if you have some gun depression, and one thing the Matilda does have is oodles and oodles and oodles of gun depression. The gun may not be fantastic, but whatever. In fact, the tank may not be fantastic, but I enjoy it anyway. I'm odd like that. So, trying to get some shots on that Panzer III-4, but he managed to back behind a hill or something just in time, annoyingly. Ah well, them's the breaks. There's a Panzer IV-A over there as well. Sod it. There's the Panzer III-4. Panzer III-4 is dead. Oh, Panzer IV-H. Ooh, artillery, artillery, artillery. Kill the artillery. Now, artillery may not be as effective as it used to be after the nerfs in patch 8.6, if you remember back that far, but artillery adds another dimension to a game that you as a player have to worry about. You have to concern yourself with trying to dodge artillery shells and be artillery safe and all this jazz. So it's still a good idea to try and take them out if you get the opportunity, and assuming it doesn't involve putting your own machine in a ridiculously stupid position. And we get a lucky hit there to take out the Panzer IV and get kill number 3. We get lucky and track that Panzer IV, and there you can see right there I get hit by the enemy artillery. We tracked that Panzer IV in the open, that was more valuable, that was a Panzer IV-H, and people lay some hurt on him so that he is dead. Now in this tank at the moment I have my T-34-85 crew, who are not very good. I don't have repairs or any of the good stuff on them. They're not even 100% yet, so it took me a while to put the tracks back on my tank. So we're currently trailing by 2 kills. It's been a pretty quick and bloody affair. You know, the scores are currently 9-11, but trailing by 2 kills, and we're going to try and rectify that. We currently have 2 Tier 5s remaining, they have 1, and that's an artillery piece. We have already lost both of our artillery. And with these tanks remaining, you know, this is a pretty darn good armoured, well-armoured machine. So, Strug 3B, that's the Tier 4 one. 1 hit, 2 hits, 1 more shot will finish this guy off. He should really do something about that, but he doesn't appear to be interested in staying alive. Now, our base is currently being captured. Someone needs to do something about that. So I might as well try and do something about it, and I'm slow enough that I should probably start heading back now. Panzer S-35 manages to take out one of our guys, the Panzer 38T. But in return, we managed to take him out. Kill number 5. I'm just trying to work my way back to our base. Not exactly sure who it is. I mean, it's not going to be the artillery, I don't think. And it's probably not going to be the Marder, but whether it's the Panzer or the Chiha, really don't know. it's the it's the Panzer, as the Chiha is off to our left-hand side. Get one shot on the Chiha, because I really don't want to be taking flanking fire from that guy if I can possibly avoid it. Ooh, now there is a Marder around, because he just took out our T-70. So the Marder was more aggressive than I gave him credit for. And he's on 4 kills, so well played to that chap. Tier 3 tank destroyer, tier 5 game, and he's made a good impression. Well done to him. But they managed to kill the guy who's sitting on our cap. I think that was down to our T-34, so I don't have to worry about that. And instead, I'm going to come over here and make that Marder wish he hadn't shown his face. Does the Marder have a gun capable of hurting me? Yes. Do I have the advantage in this fight? Very much so. And am I going to try and cliff dive him? Oh, hell yeah! And that's one dead Marder. And that was my top gun. Now, artillery misses me just there, and it's just the artillery who's actually left. I'm just moving, trying to make sure I don't get artilleried, and trying to put myself in a position where I can actually advance. And off we go. Now, I'm not going to drive through that water because it would take a bleeding age. What I am instead going to do is return to the island, pseudo-island, in the centre of the map. Okay, outcrop. It used to be more of an island, but then they changed it. And try and get some fire from there, assuming that our T-34 doesn't wreck the AMX before I have an opportunity to tell him what I think of him. Oh no, he's found the artillery. I'm never going to get over there in time. Come on, if the enemy artillery can bag the T-34, maybe I can bag the artillery, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the T-34 is just going to giggle and wreck this guy. There we go, one more shot, and he's gone. And that was the game. So despite the fact that we were trailing pretty much all the game, we managed to pull it back and win 15-3, and I picked up a Top Gun, which was nice. Have a look at the post-battle results, and then we'll move on to game number 2. Here is game number 2, and we are here on Muravanka with the Magic Forest. It's a tier 5 game again, but the matchmaking is decidedly less friendly this time round. And on the one hand, the enemy team has more tier 5s than we do, but on the other hand, they also have more tier 3s, and we have a couple of tier 4s filling in the gaps. So, you know, the matchmaking isn't horrific. On the flip side, I, generally speaking, am not really a fan of this map. The forest is a death trap, and the one line often gets dominated by tank destroyers, and if you play aggressive, you get shot from the forest. If someone controls the forest, it's just a bit of a nightmare. Also, if your tank doesn't have gun depression to start with, this is a terrible map for you. Thankfully, the Matilda does. Hurrah! So we're going to see what we can do. Now, there are quite a few KV-1s floating around, which is a problem because I will struggle to penetrate KV-1s even with premium ammunition. I have to pick my shots very carefully. I can do it. I mean, I can kill KV-1Ss from the front, that's fine, but still have to pick my shots very carefully and have a little bit of luck. So I'm hanging back a bit because in this sort of game my armor's really not worth as much. I mean, the KV-1s, the Stugs, they can all make a horrible mess of me. So Crusader being way too aggressive, but it's okay because my gunnery is apparently sucking at the moment. There we go, there's a hit, and I take a hit in return, annoyingly. Someone finally kills that Crusader, and I'm working over this Panzer IV, but he's dead. So, 2 kills apiece. We've lost an Su-85 and an Su-76, they've lost a Crusader and a Panzer IV. You could argue that as they've lost 2 tier 5s and we have only lost 1 tier 5 and a tier 3, that so far we are having the better of the engagement. But we also have no one looking over the forest, which is a little bit worrisome. Now that KV-1 on the enemy team there is stock, or at least he's using the stock turret because he only has 590 health. Which is something, because it probably means he's using a kind of naff gun. Or at least he won't have the the 85mm gun. I can't remember exactly what guns you can mount on that thing though. And boom, we've just lost another couple of tier 5s. This is not going amazingly well. We're losing 2-4, but there's a Panzer 1C. Not the most important target in the world, but one that I can damage without too much difficulty, providing I can hit the little blighter. And I just decide to ignore him because, hello, targets. T49. We have a blind shot, but that one just goes into the hill. It wasn't particularly well aimed. Oh dear, right. Stug. There's one into his side. There's a second. Third one, I've no idea where that one went. That one bounced. I should really load high explosive at this point, and I do. And he dies. But I took my fair share of damage in the process, got a damaged gun, for which I had to use my repair kit. Oh good lord, oh more damage, and we are losing 310. We had a bunch of guys just drive straight up the middle of the map and die. So, well played to you guys. There we go, we take out that slightly irritating Panzer 1C. There's a KV-1 moving up here, so I load the premium ammunition, the APCR, and see if I can. He's got the stock turret, but okay. And oh good lord, Wolverine. I have problems. Alright. That one bounces because it was a badly aimed shot. And his armor was angled back away from me, and T49, I've switched back to regular ammunition. But we've managed to pull it back to 710 from 310. That's not too bad going. And there we go. 910. So we've had the last 6 kills in a row, which isn't too shabby. I'm on 2, this KV-1's on 3, we've got Hetzer on 1, and our artillery's picked up 1 as well. So we're not out of this just yet, although, is that KV-1 behind me in this game or not? I'm honestly not sure. So I've loaded armor piercing, and I'm going to try and get rid of the Valentine first, because he's easier to penetrate than the T1. Oh no, I do try for a shot on the side of the T1's turret. For all of its effectiveness, load a premium shot, and it still bounces. Right, load high explosive, because I know the gun shield on the Valentine is tissue paper. There we go, gun shield, there we go, 156, job's a good one. And he is dead, and we're now actually winning 11-10. Right, there's an 82 over there. Oh, he's going to be a problem for me. So with regular rounds, I have 86mm of penetration, which will struggle to penetrate him even from behind. 102mm with APCR, which is enough to get him in the rear, possibly the sides. And high explosive will do very little to him because, you know, 75mm high explosive is not the best high explosive in the world. And unfortunately, we just lost our, I think it was AFK KV-1. Now, big credit to this KV-1, who's still alive on our team. By the name of Peepo. Peepo, all credit to you, dude. You have 4 kills. You're going to do well at the end of this game. Spoiler alert. You have 49 health, but you also have balls of steel. So, well done to you, sir. It was a pleasure playing with you. And I'm trying to just have shots at this guy, you know, this 82, to sort of distract him from our KV-1 and try and track him if I can. And also maybe this Hetzer can get some shots into this 82's bum. If we all attack him at once, then we might be able to do something to him. So, flanking shots into the side of him have been ineffective. Bounce again. Aim for his weak spot, still bounce. Load premium ammunition. Oh, Hetzer's down, Hetzer's down. Put a shot through his side. KV-1 finishes him off. Go back to regular armor piercing. So, there's myself, a KV-1 and an AMX versus a KV-1 and 2 Sextons. And the Hetzer says good job, and I'm agreeing with him. You know, we've managed to pull this back to, at the very least, a more even fight. And I load the high explosive. So the thing is, I'm going to struggle to penetrate that KV-1 anyway. And if I load high explosive, then with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to one-shot the artilleries. As long as I aim my shots fairly well. Which will be nice. So we're advancing forward, supporting this KV-1. And I'm hoping between them, the KV-1 and the artillery can work the enemy KV-1 over when we find him. Now, and it's entirely possible this guy's AFK. We had an AFK KV-1. I don't know if I've seen him all game, but he doesn't have any kills. So it is possible that he hasn't even bothered turning up. I don't know. We shall see. But either way, we're moving through the wood. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. And this is always a problem, and he's just sitting at the enemy base. He's AFK. And I'm saying, ignore the KV-1. He's AFK. Go after the artillery, because the artillery can still kill us. And that KV-1 can spot us. So I am not interested in having a go at that KV-1. I'm more interested in hunting down this pair of sextons. And there's one of them. 140 health. Aim my shot. One shot. And that's why you often want to load high explosive for artillery. As long as you know where their armour is tissue weak, and generally speaking the superstructure is weak as anything. As long as you're aware of that, aim your shot for it. Sorry about that. And here we go again. Make your shots count. And there we go. That's 4 kills. Our KV-1 gets a top gun by taking out the AFK guy. And despite losing at one point, 3-10, we managed to pull that back and get a victory out of it. So, big shout out to the relevant people there. Driver of the KV-1, the AMX-13AM, and the Hetzer. Great guys to play with. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game. Or that pair of games, I should say. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.